Hello and welcome to this week tutorial. In this week tutorial, we continue working on our project that we started 2 weeks ago. So we're creating the last project for our JavaScript series. So it's a design to code project that in the first video, we designed a landing page for a fictional website. So we designed this in the first project, in the first video, and the second video, last week video, we lay out the HTML. In this video, we saw working. In this week's video, we start working on the CSS. So this the finished project look like. We saw everything in this video. Okay. So if you did not watch last week's video, there'll be a link in the description that you can go watch the HTML part. But if you don't want to watch it, there'll also be a link in the description where you can download the starter file. And for this week's starter file, we include the HTML already in there. And also, if you follow from last week's video, I recommend that you download the updated for this week tutorial, because there are a few mistakes in the HTML that are fixed from last week tutorial. So in this week tutorial, we will be doing the CSS. We're gonna be using SaaS. So without any further ado, let's get started. Hello and welcome back. My name is Marius, and on this channel I create web design and development tutorial. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon to be notified every time I release new tutorial. As I say in the introduction, we start writing the CSS for our project. Last week we lay out just the HTML. So in this week tutorial, we saw writing the CSS. We're going to be using SaaS SCSS. So once you download your project folder, inside of it you see the and that's the HTML. You should see the SaaS folder, the SS folder, all these they are currently empty, and you should see the main.scss right here, which already import all the partial that we need. Currently these two are empty. We won't be touching them till next week tutorial. So right now, since the browser cannot understand SaaS but can only read CSS, we do not have this file yet. We need something to compile our SaaS into regular CSS. So I'm going to be using Prepros. There's a link in the description where you can go and download it. It's free. You just go to prepros.io right here. Also, there's a link in the description. Click the download, free unlimited trial. Everything is included. The only reason between the free and the premium, the free once in a while will pop up on your screen. So once you download that, you will be able to open it up right here, and then bring your project folder right here. For example, I already brought mine. I just call it tutorial. Bring the project folder right here, and you should be able to see this document. We do not have the CSS yet. And click these three, the menu icon right here, choose project setting, and go to CSS tool and click SaaS, and leave it all thing. Let me do it again, and scroll down, leave everything as it is. Scroll down and make sure you have these. If you don't have it, make sure you put them in there. We just make sure that I create a right folder for this. Close this, click this arrow and choose your main.scss. Click on it, and you should see this is the output file. It will create a CSS folder inside of that. It will create this main.css, and we automatically process it. It will add a preface, and you can also minify it if you want to, but right now we won't be doing a minify. After we finish it, I will show you how we can do the minification also. Okay, so we need our CSS folder. So all you have to do, click the process file button, couple minutes, now it's created. As you can see inside right here, our CSS main.css folder is empty right now. Okay, so pre-pros we be washing over our main.SCSS folder and process it anytime there's a change. And once you come right here, right click on the folder and choose open preview right here, open preview, and then open it up right here, and then open preview for the local host. So when we change anything, it will change right here. Okay, this is the finished project. This is the HTML that we're working on. So with that, we start writing laying out the CSS. I will move this out of the screen. So go inside your SCSS folder, and then we start with our variables. So I will click the variable.scss right here. This way we're gonna add other variable like the color, fonts, sizes, and font family variable that we want to reuse throughout our project. So let's start with the colors first. So in here I already had the colors. Had our primary yellow, primary orange, and the gradient for all of this. And then I call this one as kind of the accent and mint color, accent purple, and then gradient. Okay, and then we had this off-white like gray color, and then we had this test, the typography, all of this. So with that, let's start with the colors. So first one will be for the yellow, the primary. So to create a variable in SaaS, put a $sign and give it a name. In this case, the primary. Got a yellow color. And S decimal is hash FEC163. Okay. I will duplicate this by holding Shift, Alt, and a down arrow key. And then this one, I will call it orange. It's DE4313. So this one. And then I will do the primary. Shift, Alt, down arrow key. So as a primary, instead of orange, there will be gradient, which is this one is a 135-degree angle, and it's this yellow and this dark orange color, the mix of those two. So say linear gradient, and then we specify the direction, in this case 135 dg for degree, and then it's our primary and orange, the primary yellow and a primary orange. So we can just reuse the variable again. So primary yellow, put comma, and then primary orange, and that's it. Save this. Yeah, nothing happened right here because this variable don't get compiled to CSS right now. And that we start with this one. So this we call accent, mint color, and it is 5EFCE8. Shift Alt down arrow key to duplicate it, and the second one be purple instead of mint, purple, and then the color will be 736EFE. and then the gradient version of it. We just copy this gradient also because mostly the same thing. And 135° now, and this time gonna be the accent mint, and then the second one, as you can tell, accent purple. Save this. Nothing happened. Now we start working on these colors, the grays one. So the first one we call up white color. It will be F5, F5, F5. The second one we're going to be our background color, which should be F9, F9, F9. Next, it will be the dark gray color, and that will be D, F, D, F, D, F. And our last color will be the body text color. So body text color, and this will be 26, 26, and 26. Save this. Let me write little comments on top here. Say colors. Now we move to the typography. So first I will set up my fonts family to be Breakpoints and be sans serif. Now it sets, if you look inside your HTML, it's already imported right here, Breakpoints, and we had this font with 300, 400, 700. So this will be the font width. The first one, font with lights, and this will be 300. Shift Alt down arrow key to duplicate it, and this will be font with regular, and this will be 400. Duplicate this again, and this will be bold, and this will be 700. That's 701. Save it. Now let's start talking about the font sizes. Now we want to set the root font size, because I want to use the rem, which is relative to the root element, which is the HTML. So let's say I set the root element to be the HTML font size to be 10 pixels, then one rem will be 10 pixels. Let's say I set the HTML to be 22 pixels, then one rem will be 22 pixels. Okay, so this is the mobile first, so we want to start with the mobile version all the way to the desktop version. So for the mobile version, I want to set it to be 10 pixels. The roots font size with 10 pixels. Okay, so let's say root font size SM for small. Now I can set to be 10 pixels like this, but the then is the by default the root element for the browser is usually 16 pixels, so one rem will be 16 pixels. If I set this to be 10 pixels, that's fine. But let's say the user want to change from 16 pixels to, let's say, 22 pixels. Even if they change it, it will always remain 10 pixels. So we want to be able to make a relative dynamic, so even if they change it, it will see gonna adapt nicely. So instead of using hard pixel, we can use the percentage. So since the default is 16 and we want to be 10 pixel, then all we have to do is take our desired font size divided by the default font size. So in this case, 10 pixel divided by the 16 pixel, we give you 0.625 and then multiply this by 100, give you 62.5%. So instead of writing 10 pixel, we want it to be 10, this 62.5%. Okay. So that's our first one. I'm just going to duplicate. So let me just put 10 pixel right here. Duplicate this for the medium devices. For the medium devices, I want to be 12 pixel. So in this case, it will be 75%. Duplicate this again for the large LG. And this one I want to be 14 pixel. So I already calculate them. So this will be 87.5%. And this will be 14 pixel. And duplicate this again. And then this will be Excel. We have to draw 4 breakpoints. And this will be 15.5 pixel. So 15.5 pixel. This will be extra large devices. So this one is 96.875%. Okay, save this. Nothing really happens here yet. So now start with our heading 1. So I say heading 1. This want to be 4.2 RAM. 4.2 RAM. Some smaller devices that will be 42 pixel. Okay, because 4.2 times 10. Duplicate this. Heading 2 will be 3.6. 3.6, which should be 36 pixel. Duplicate this. Heading 3 will be 3 RAM. So 30 pixel. Then our paragraph will be 1.8 RAM. So 18 pixel. And then let's start working on the line heights. Line height for heading 1. I said be 4.8 RAM. Same line height for the 3, because these are different. Heading 1, heading 2 we get the same, and then for heading 3 we get 4 RAM. Will be 40. And then we set a default to be 2.2, no, 3.2, sorry, 3.2. 32 pixel. Save it. Now nothing change it here. We just set the variable for now. After this, set out the layout. So this way we start defining our breakpoints and our container sizes. So first set a breakpoint. So I say breakpoints SM for small, let be 0 EM because these are mobile first. Now we're using EM. It's good to use EM for media query for the breakpoints. So this breakpoints for the medium devices. Now for this one, it will be 553. That's what it shows, and then divide that by 16. With the default fonts, browser font size, we get 34.5625 EM, and the way we get that is 553 divided by 16. And then we do the breakpoint for the large device. And this one will be 56.3125. And this 901. And then do the extra large. The breakpoint is 87.5625, and this is 1401. So that's the breakpoint for the extra large devices. Now, so what kind of container? So container, again, SM mobile first, it'll be 90%. Some mobile devices want our container to be 90% of the width, and then we do container MD medium devices 85%. Duplicate this and get to the LG. Now for the larger devices, we use max width. So when we start adding the actual CSS, it's gonna be max width. So I want the max width to be 1233 pixel, 1233 pixel. And again, on LG, we had our roots element right here to be 14 pixels, so 87.5%. So here we choose our desired max width, and we divide it by our base font size. So in this case, it will be something like 1233 pixel divided by 14, since that's what we select for this one. And this one will be in RAM 88.07 RAM. So let me just copy something real quickly. So how this is our 1233 is our desired max width divided by 14 pixel with a base font size, which be closely close to this number. Now we need to do the same thing for the extra large device. So XL, and this one will be 1560. So this is 1560. And the base is 15.5. 15.5, and this we roughly equals to 100.64 RAM. So that's our layout, and after the layout, we just add our spacing, and then to spacing SM v2 rem, duplicate this for the MD, so medium spacing will be 4 rem. Duplicate this LG 5 rem. Duplicate this XL to be 6 rem, and this will be 60 pixel. We duplicate this. Now we want to work on the border radius. This will be border radius, for example, for our button, and this will be 0.6, so just 6 pixel. And then we do the chord radius. This one will be 4 rem. So for the case one, save it, and then nothing happened right here. So that's it for the variables. So if you want to pause and then go back and write this, that's fine. Now with a variable out of the way, we start working at our mixing. So go to your start the SCSS folder and look for the mixing, the SCSS right here. Now the mixing is something that we can use over when we want to use it. Instead of writing the same thing over, we can use mixing to do the job a lot quicker. So our first mixing will be the back shadow. So I'll create back shadow. Listen, I go down here, I use the add symbol right over mixing. Like this, I'll give it a name, backs shadow, and I give it some parameters. For example, in JavaScript, you can give parameter to your function, you can give parameter to this. So the first one will be the color. And the default color that I want to give it to is the body text color. And then the second parameter I want to give it to is the opacity, and it will be 0.2. And here that's why I write a CSS. So say backs shadow be x0 y0, the spread 1.2 rem, and the color RGB A right here. And where you say color, delete this color right here will be paste right here. Where I say alpha, that's the opacity. I just write the opacity right here. So let's say when you use the mixing, you don't have to specify any of this. If you want, you can always change it, but you can leave it as the way it is, and that this rule will be applied to your CSS, whether you had to be writing this over and over. Now the second one I want to do is our transition. So the transition, I'll just again mixing, and then go transition and give it some parameters. The first one with the property, what property? And the second one got the duration, and this one I give it a default value of 0.3 second. And the third parameter with the easing function. So I say easing. The default will be ease and out. And then right here, there's transition. So a transition. And the first one, the property. What property we charge transition? And the second one, the duration. And the third one, the easing. And the third mixing on create is our absolute position, because we'll be using this quite a lot. When you want to position something, say position absolute. So create my mixing, and it will be abs. So absolute position. It will take some parameter. The first one be the top value, the left value, the width, the height, and the z index. And here we say top, it equals to a top. So every time we call this, we must specify all of this. And then with the left, set a width. And I will show you when we start doing it. Let's say we don't need the left value or the width or the height, how we can skip it so it doesn't print or give us error. And then height, and the last but not least, z index, go our z index variable. And that's that. And then the last mixing, the big one, with our media query. So as you know, when you're writing CSS, you put a lot of, for example, add media, screen, all of this, and maybe let's say and main width, and then let's say 300 pixel, and then you put, let's say, body, font size, do RAM, and then you put all other rules down also, right? We can create mixing that will do all of this for us, so we don't have to be running this all over again. Okay, and just like we pass in some variable parameter here, we pass in some parameters for this also. So let me copy something real quickly. So these are our breakpoints for the small device and mobile device. There's from 0 pixel all the way to 552. For the phone and landscape and tablet and portrait, so 553 to 900. And for tablet, landscape and laptop, so 901 to be 1400. And for larger device, desktop and a full HD bigger is a 1401, and the one EM is called 16 pixel. And as you can see inside our variable right here, the breakpoint right here, 0 for small device, but say it's 0 EM, all of this. So we're going to create a mixin that will take care of all of that. So call our mixin, I'll call it response. And we take in breakpoints. Okay, and inside our this mixin, we want to do some logic. So inside this mixin, we want to do some logic. For example, in JavaScript, we can use the if statement. We want to use that in SaaS. So put the at symbol, say if space, and call our variable breakpoint. Our breakpoint, the one that we specify right here, is equal to equal sign SM. Then we want to call this. Okay, so just copy the, if you do this, just copy it, or just copy this. We remove the body right here. Save this for now. And here, instead of and hard coding this, we can pass in our breakpoints SM variable. Remember this one right here. I'm passing this right here. And here we use the art content. We use art content right here. And now this art content, we'll be able to grab all of this and paste them right here. Okay, so we can just do something like that. Let's say we have a body, and then we have some other stuff here. We can just put the color. Make sense? So in this case, I say include, respond, and then passing SM right here, and I can put font size to be 2 rem. Now SaaS with this content, this font size will be pasted right here. So SaaS will grab the body, it will grab something like this. It will do this. So in the case, it will become 0 EM. SaaS will be able to automatically write this based on this. Okay, this art content right here, we grab this part right here. Okay, so that's how that works. With that said, we create for the rest of others. So for the MD, I'm just going to duplicate this, come down here, say MD, and I can hold the control D and MD, and I can select multiple at the same time, and then come down here again, control D, LG, and leave this one the same. Control D, and then Excel. I will remove this. We save it. Now, if you take a look inside your pre-pros, use log, and see it's processing the CSS already successfully. Okay, so if you see that there's the, when we start writing the rest of the styling and something's not working, come here and see if anything is showing. If there's an error, it will show you error. For example, let me just comment this thing and save it. See, it gave me an error right here. So be sure to look out for this. If you see that your styling is not being applied correctly, make sure to check that everything being processed correctly. Now it's working. So we take this off the screen real quickly. So that's the mixing. Now let's move to the base. So click the base, the SCSS. This is where we saw late. So putting everything right in the code. So first thing, I want to remove all the padding margin from the page. So put the inverse letter. You want to do for the before pseudo element and the after pseudo element. So here is a padding B0, margin 0, and I want to remove the text decoration for all the link element, for example all this, and then the bullet also right away from here. So text decoration to be none. If I say this right now, You can see our CSS already, our SaaS is working. I get compile, and you can see there's no underline right here, and the margin and the padding are removed. Now I'm going to remove the list style to be none, and then save the box sizing, and this one I set to inherit. If you take a look inside the CSS, the main.css, now you can see we get compile, and then pre-post add the vendor prefaces for everything. For example, our back sizing right here. And then we saw the HTML, so HTML. And this we set the heights being 100%. Back sizing, and that's why we set a back sizing to be border backs. Then we set a font size to our root font size SM, because these are mobile first, so say roots font size SM. And if you remember, it's set to be 62.5%, which is 10 pixels. Okay, we save this. Now you can see everything got very small. Now we want to change an order screen also, so we use our mixin. So to use the mixin, put the add symbol and what include, and write your mixin name. This is called respond, and we specify the breakpoint. This is MD. We set this font size to be the roots element for MD. Okay, and then I'm just going to duplicate this. Control D for the LG. Duplicate. Control D. Excel. Save it. Now nothing happened here, but watch what happened when we start resizing it. See, the text start getting a little bigger, as you can see. Then start getting a little bit bigger, and smaller, and smaller. So that's for the HTML. Now let's move to the body. So body says I set a width to be 100%. Also set a min height to be 100%. Set a font family to be our font family variable, which is popping. And then we set a font size to be 1.4 RAM. We save this. We see now everything start taking shapes. See the font size change, and it got a little bit bigger. If you start resizing it, it's a little bigger on the medium devices. See, a whole lot bigger on very larger devices. As you can see, everything start taking shape. Okay, so that's that. Now that we set a background color to be our background color variable, and then we set up color to be our body text color. We set a font width to be our font weight regular, and then we set a line height to our line height to our variable line height default right here, and then we add these two rules real quickly. So you want to pause it and add this, you can do so. And then we set the overflow X to be hidden. Now use the important keyword. I save this. See, it's not that much change, everything taking shape. You can see the online height is being applied right here. Let's see if I comment this one out. Now it's a little bit squished. Uncomment it. See this, and we take a look inside our CSS. Get it right here. Now you can see the media query is working, and everything. See the online height. It changed to the number right here. You don't see the variable name again. You see the actual value. Okay. So now after this, we move to the image. So image, I set a max width. Now you can see all the image are very large. Because we set overflow X to be hidden. That's why you can scroll right here. So I set the max width to be 100%. Save this. Now you can see the images. Now this is a video. This one is a video. I'll set this height be auto. I set display be block. By default it display inline, and I'll set the objects fit to be cover. And then after this, going to be our anchor element and then span element set to be display inline block, so we can add padding and margin for them. After this, select our button, a button element, and set a border to be 0. By default, you can see we have border right here. So if I set border to be 0, save this. You can see there's no border on them. I will set the background color of them be transparent. Now values background color, and I will say a cursor with pointer and font family to be inherit. Otherwise it won't have this font family right here. I realized that when I was working on this tutorial. So this font family inherit will make sure that I inherit this font family right here. So that's it for the base. Now let's move to the typography. So we did the variable mixing the base. Now we move to the typography. Now the first one to target is the paragraph. Set the font size to be the paragraph. Variable, I say margin bottom. To be out my spacing SM, which is 2 rem. Save this. If you take a look at the paragraph, now you can see the paragraph start taking shape and inherit the default line height already. Now I want to change a little bit on larger devices, so it looks nice here, but you can see on larger devices start getting way too huge right here. So the font size right here is 1.8 rem by default. So on larger devices is add include respond LG. I said our font size be 1.4 rem, and then I decrease the line height also. Line height to be 2.5 rem. Save this. Now a lot nicer, as you can see. smaller devices, it looks nice also. Okay, so that's a paragraph. We want to make sure if there's more than one paragraph, the last one had no margin. By default, we gave them a margin. And if just one paragraph, then that one paragraph won't have any margin. So we can do that using the last of type selector. So put the ampersand and then the colon last of type, and this will be margin bottom 0. Now you can see before, see it had some margin right here, but now when we do last of type, it will remove it. If it's taken inside CSS, now this is how it looks like right here. That's how we can dwell in SaaS. Now that's a paragraph. Now let's move to the heading 1. So heading 1, other one heading 3, heading 3, no, heading 2, and heading 3. And if you remember inside our CSS, all the way inside the folder right here, instead of this container, we have this class called h3, but yeah, it's the heading 2 right here. So we want to create some classes that we had the same styling and the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. So let's say, for example, this is heading 2, but then we want to behave a lot like heading 3. So we can read that class. So I create a class called h1, h2, and then h3. And this, we have a font width or the bold, or bold, not bold, not regular. And have line height will be the line height, heading 1, and then the color it inherits. Save this. Now nothing changes right now. The line heights are taking place, as you can see. Now we start adding each individual. So heading 1 and class h1, font size to be the heading 1. Save this. Now you can see this is a heading 1. I want to change a little bit on larger devices. Now you can see that's nice. I want to reduce it a little bit. So I'll use my media query and mixin for the media query. LG. I set a font size to be 3 rem. So since we specified it to be 14 pixel and LG the root element, root font size to be 14 pixel, this will be 42 pixel. And then the line height, we decrease the line height on larger devices be 3.5 rem, which will be 49. Save this. Now it reduce. Okay. Now that's the heading 1. And just copy this. Shift Alt down arrow key to duplicate it. No. Select my 1. Control D to select multiple instances, and this one will be 2, heading 2. But this is heading 2. Save this. And on larger device, I want to change them a little bit. So this one will be 2 32.4 RAM, and it will be 33.6 pixel. The line height 3.4, 47.6. So let's see how it looks like. Now this is how it looks like. Now let's do for the heading 3. Again, Control D for 3. Now this is a heading 3, like this one right here. Now I want to change this line height for the heading 3 to its own line height. Now it reduced a little bit, and once again I want to change it on larger devices. This will be 2 RAM, so 28 pixel, and the line height will be 2.8, and this will be 39.2. Save this, resize this. You can see so everything start taking shape little by little. The typography is almost done. Now remember, every section had these, for example, featured tab, this title, but this mean the theme, all of that. I want to start that, and we had this class. And we had this class section, heading, and the margin bottom to be the spacing LG. So this will be 5 RAM. Save this and watch right here. You can see now we start getting some space between right there. So that is the typography. Now last but not least, let's take a look at for our utility right here. Utility, the SCSS. These are some reusable class that we want to use. For example, so the SCSS, we have some class called text center. Let me see. No, none of this has it. Yeah, but I can remember one of them. Yeah, for the future, I had this class text center right here, and we had default spacing, these, and then this class called flex. So we're gonna add them inside our utility right here. So the first one be text center, and this will be text inline to be center. Save this. Now you see text inline to be center. Now our default spacing for the section be padding, top and bottom be the spacing LG will be, which is 5 RAM, and then 0 left and right. Now after this, our flex, and this will be display flex and flex wrap be wrap. Save this, and you can see there's a nice space between. I can see right here also. Now, well, all of this, now we move to the layout to set up our container. So go inside the layout, Create our container. And then we set the width to be our container SM. We should remember in 90%. So if I save this right now, everywhere we use the container, then we get 90% of the width of the body. So I just say margin 0 auto. Save this. Now you can see the center has some space right here, space right here. You can see. Now, so adding for the, let's say if I resize this, make it larger, it remain 90% all across. Now we want to reduce a little bit on other devices with. So the first one be the medium devices, MD. Say the width to be container MD. Duplicate this, Shift Alt down arrow key, and this will be LG. But the LG, we want to use a max width, not just width. So max width, make sure it's not above this width right here. Save this. Nothing changes here. But when we start resizing it, it's MD. Now this LG, now you can see it's not getting any bigger. Now under the Excel. Excel also is max width. So we get this. Okay. So that's it for the layout for now. Later on we come back, so adding these column for the rows and column. But for now, that's it for the layout. So I'm just gonna close out all of this for now. And leave the HTML open. And we start styling our header. So open the header, see what it's working out. Now open your header.scss right here. Okay, now we start our header. So we had a header right here. Up here. I see header. Select a header. Give it a padding. 1 rem, left and right, 0, left and right. Save this. I give it some border so we see where we're styling. So it's a border. 2 peso solid. Just say solid. Now this is our header right here. Now see the header nav. Set our header nav. So now this is what we're selecting, header nav to underscore nav. This is the same if I write this header nav, where SaaS I don't have to keep writing header since this already contain header, so I can just put the 10% right here. And for the header nav, all I want to do is just display it, reflex, save it. Now changes right here. Now you can see the logo disappear, but we bring it back. Now after the header nav, we choose our header flex. Our header flex contain the logo, the menu, this button, and this mobile menu icon. So first thing I do is say display flex online item. to be center, so it's center and in the middle vertically, and then just by counting space between. Save this. Now we get this. I set the width be 100%. Now after this, the header logo, I say it's width. Again, the logo is inside of the header logo. You get this. So width to be 4.5 rem. Save it. And then show up. I've set it to be display again. Flex. Align item. The center. And I will set the anchor element to be width 100%. Save this. Now the logo is showing. Then I will select the brand, which had this. The logo had this class called brand. It says width also be 100%. And to save some space, I will just gonna put these two together. So A, and I'll remove this. So the same thing. I want to change this a little bit, the width of the logo. Now I can see medium devices is very small, so it's also want to change this. So from MD and up, so I say include response MD. So now we're going to work from, because I'm main width, from MD all the way to XL. I set the width to be 12 rem. That's it. Now a lot bigger. So that's the logo. Now start working on the menu, header menu right here. And right here, logo. Menu. Now it's had a class called header menu. I set a position be fixed. And remember inside our mixing, we had this position absolute. We got top left, all of this. We're gonna use that. Since this is fixed, we can also use the top left C index on it. So say include absolute position, and then set a top to be 0, left 0, width 80%, the height to be 100%, and the Z index to be 25. I save this, and you can see the menu shifts. Set our background color to be our body text color. Save this. Now you can see it start taking shape. I set the padding to be the spacing MD and 0. Spacing MD is 4 rem. So top and bottom 4 rem, left and right 0. Now we start working on this heading element right here. Okay, so if I had a class called menu header menu list, and the first one, that class active. Okay, so let's do that. So this already select header menu. Now we need the header menu list. We put ampersand list right here. Inside of it, I'll grab the anchor element. I'll set the display to be block set the padding to be spacing SM, the font size be 2.4 rem, color to be off-white, and then the transition, that includes transition. So when we hover it, we want transition the color, and then we passing the parameter. This case, the color, just color. Save it. We get this. Okay. Now I want to change the font size of this and the padding a little bit on medium devices. For example, right here, it's a little bit huge. So go down here, we'll include respond MD. And we set the font size be 1.6 RAM and the padding be 1 RAM and set to be 2 RAM. Save this. Now we get this. Okay, now it look like this on all devices, but we're gonna face it so we can show everything show on the top right here. Of right now, we go into the mobile, facing the mobile, and I reduce it again on the larger devices, LG, and this one instead of 0.6 it will be 0.4, 1.4. Okay, and after that we want to work on the hover states and the active state. So we collapse this and come outside of the anchor element and say header menu list, send hover. When we hover this, grab the anchor element, and also when this one has the active class anchor element, we want to do something with it. So the color, I change the color to be the primary orange, like this. So you see this had the active. When you hover on the others, I change the color. Okay, now we don't want it to be like this all the time. We want it only to show when we click on this hamburger menu icon. So let's slide this one out of the way for now. So we go back up here, say closing, say transform, translate. Why I shouldn't want that to slide from the top, set being negative 100%. Say this, it showed up. Okay, and say I include transition and the transform. And then opening it. When this header menu had a class active, we want to transform, translate y again to be 0. Okay, now it's heading. Now let's start working on the menu, this hamburger menu, and then we come back to the button, and then we go to our larger device and start styling the menu in there. So header menu finish, mobile menu. Actually, let's take care of the header extra, this one for now, and then say had a class of header underscore extra, and this one I have a flex. We set a flex to be auto, text inline, center, margin 0, and then spacing SM. And then on larger devices, good respond LG, set a width be 20 RAM, margin be 0, and the text align be right. Save this. Nothing changes here. Now let's move to the mobile menu. So it's got a class header mobile, and here for the button is now one the header mobile button. So again, ampersand btn 2 dashes btn set display reflex align item to be center, justify content also center. Save this. I'm creating I for the icon right here. Set the font size to be 3 RAM, padding to be 1 RAM, and then color the primary orange. Another thing happen when we click it, we will make the clicking by JavaScript. Now we don't want to see this on larger devices. So we actually want to hide this. So all we have to do right here is say include respond LG display none. And here we have it. Now we work on the small devices. I just work for the button real quickly. So open your button, the SCSS right here. So let's take care of this button. So we grab anything had a class called button. Inside here it's just say the padding to be 1.2 RAM top and bottom, and the spacing MD, which is 4 RAM left and right. Set the font size be 1.6 RAM, border radius to be the border radius variable, and then say display inline flex, because some of them had this icon. We'll make sure it's not in the center. So I say align item to be center, and set a position be relative. I save this. Now I saw doing a primary and a secondary. So say primary. So button primary. Say background image, because we use the linear gradient. So we have to use the background image, non-background color. Then we're gonna use our primary gradient color. So if we save this right now, we should see our button right here. And then we can set the color be off white. Save this. There you have it. As you can see, it's our button. Now we do it for the secondary. Secondary. And this, the color will be off white. And this won't be background image, but background color. And then for the color, we use the primary accent, no, primary orange. Save it. Now we get this. Now you can't really see it, but on your screen you might be able to see this off-white color right here. Then the icon, is say margin left, spacing SM. Save this. Now there's some space right here. Now the hovering, either the primary or secondary, so put the ampersand, the hover letter, the transform, translate y 0.2 rem. So if I save this and I hover it, you can see it jumped down a little bit. So we need to add a transition up here. I can include transition, and the property will be transform. Now it's smooth. It's a lot smoother, as you can see. So that's for the button. Now we want to see how long sound the device. Now it sees. So again, a bit way too huge right here. So we need to resize that a little bit. Medium devices and larger devices. So right here, they add include respond. Select the medium device. The padding 1 rem, and then the spacing MD instead of 1.2 rem. Now it got smaller. I'll reduce our font size also to be 1.2 rem also. Now this way it looks like. Now we're going to for the LG. So let me actually make this one a little bit bigger. Now you see this MD styling is still working on the LG, but we want to change this one to be set on 1.1 be 0.6 rem, and the font size also going to be 1.2. So I'm going to remove this since we already have it right here. So save this. Now a lot nicer. Our menus start taking shape. As you can see, this is our final project. Now we need to bring this one in, but it's start taking shape, as you can see. Let me actually reset. So we want to start bringing these menus in right here. So go back to our header, the SCSS, and close the header menu with this one. Now open the menu again, and here after the active, I will just put the word responsive, and we want to start on larger devices, so I can include this one LG. Some medium devices we want to have a hamburger menu icon. I said that the position to be initial because we set it to be fixed here. Okay, I'll set with display flex. Save this. Now you can see that right here. I removed the background color. Be transparent. Set the background be transparent. I will set a transform, bring the transform, translate Y to be 0. Now you can see them right here. Set a padding to be 0. The margin, top and bottom 0, left and right 2 rem, so spacing SM. Now I start taking shape now. Make this one a little bigger, like this. And then set the flex to be auto, because this entire header flex is display flex, so this header menu is a flex item, and at the same time we want to we already display our flex right here, so we want to add some alignment, such as align item center, justify content to be center. Save this. Now everything that's center right here. Now start again the header list right here. So come down here, so choose my header list like this. The anchor element inside of it that be display as block. Actually no, and the reason why we don't see it right now, because this one is on a dark background color. So for temporary, I will set a color to be the header list menu list, set of color to be body text color for now, temporary, so we can see them. So this is how it looks like. Now there's something that I want to show you. For example, you see we had this display flex align item center. We have it right here. We have it. Let's see where else we have it. At multiple places. We have it right here. We have it right here. Right here. I want to show you this technique. This feature in SaaS placeholder that we can use. Instead of it's different from mixing. So we can create a placeholder and use the extend to extend it to include it in our SaaS. So to do that, we use the percentage and write the name of our placeholder. But for this one, we call dflex dash align center for align center, and then set my rule. So in this case, display flex align item center. Save this. Nothing happens here, but here instead of using this, I'll just put at extend and then write the name of my placeholder, so D, like this. Save it. Let's see work. But the difference between this and, for example, mixing we copy the rule and paste it right here, but this it doesn't copy it. This we copy this entire selector and paste it like right here. So if we take a look inside the CSS, if we go down, here we have this header flex right here, display flex align item center. Okay, now if we dwell for another one, so we had this one, I just can copy this one right now, and look where we did it again. we had a header logo. You can paste this right here, save this, and go to the CSS. Now we had a header logo and a header flex. Like, we then get this styling. Okay. Now, I believe there's one more. Yeah, right here. For the risk. But if we do it right here, it won't work because we are inside of it. It makes sense. So this won't work for this one, unfortunately. But I want to show you that we got one more here for this one. The button. Save this. Save it. And edit it right here. Header mobile, BTN, header logo, header flex. I put them all right here. So it saves us some time. It's different from missing. We just grab the entire styling rule and paste it right here. Okay. So I want to show you that we're going to be using a lot of this throughout the rest of the tutorial. So for now, I'm going to remove this border right here. But I want my header to be fixed. So I will set position. Because if you take a look inside for the finished one, it's fixed. When you scroll it, change color. So I say position fixed. I use my subglue mixing. I say top 0, left 0, width 100%. Now we don't need a height for this one, so the height be automatically auto, so there's no need to put that. So instead of specify something for the height, you can say null, and then for the z-index say 25. Save this. Yeah, that's mistake. Save this. Now you can see. Now the header is stuck. It follows us everywhere. On small devices also. So our header took shape. Now for this one, I got some transition. Add include transition, and it's gonna be background color. And then when they had a class called sticky, I just want to change the background color to be my body text color. Yeah. So that's it for the header. Now we move to the hero session. Okay, now before we style the hero session, we take care of the carousel. We will style the carousel first and then style the hero. So go inside of your SCSS file and look for the carousel.scss right here. Open it up and then we can start. So first select the, if you take a look right here, let me close the navigation. The hero, we had this class, the carousel that wrap around the whole carousel, and then we had the carousel navigation, then the carousel track that hold the carousel slides right here. I'm gonna close this one for now. And one of them had a video, the last one had a video. So make sure you had this class added to it, is important. So let's get started. So go inside my carousel right here. I will close this one for now. Select carousel. The first time I said width between 100%. The height to be 100%. Set position to be relative for now. Save it. Nothing major. Instead of it, now select carousel track. We ampersand 2_track. So if you take a look, it's selecting carousel track. So I set this width for now, temporary, to be 300% for now. Set the height to be 100%. Set display to be flex. I select flex, wrap, with no wrap. I will save this. Now you can see our slide are showing. The reason why it's showing this because this is the last one is a video, so you expand the outside of the container. The reason why we said 300 pixels because each one of these will be 100% width, so there are total 3, so 300. So whether we start sliding the carousel slide, individual slide, so carousel slides. And this are again width, 100%, height, 100%, position to be relative. Save it. Nothing happened here. If you take a look here, we had this overlay on top of the image. We're going to use the before pseudo element to add them. So whether we can create, then use the before pseudo element. Say the content, always specify the content or otherwise it won't work. Be empty. Position be absolute, and then we're going to use our mixin absolute position, and we set our top to be 0, left 0, width and height be 100%, and our z index null because we don't want to specify any z index for this. We set up no, we set a z index, sorry, looking at the wrong one. Then that's to be 5. Set a background color. It will be RGBA. And for the color, right here, we set to be the body text. And the alpha, we set to be 0.65. Save it. Now you can see. Now, after the slide, carousel slide, we start styling the carousel image and the video. So carousel image and video. If you take a look right here, we all had the carousel image and the video has the carousel video. So once select both of them, so carousel image and video. So position absolute, that's why we specified our slide to be relative. And we're going to use this one again, same thing. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it right here, and then for the z index, which is the last one right here, take a look. The z index is a null. Last one, I set it to be null. See this? Now you can see it start taking shape. And now we set the object fit. This will work for the also for the video to be covered. So when we resize it, it doesn't look too squished. So that's the, I'll make this thing a little bit bigger so we can see what we stand. So after this image, we start styling the navigation. So navigation, which is, let me close this one, this right here. So we had this button and the preview stuff. Okay. So it's had a class carousel nav, and we said we display, reflex, align item, we center, justify content, be space between. Save this. Now you can see the line right here. Now remember, we create a placeholder for these. We're gonna do the same thing here also. So I'm going to tap right here to the percentage. I call it deflex, the same name as specified before. Then I'm gonna grab this, cut this, and paste it right here. Now we say at extend, then D. We should put a percentage deflex, and then we see got the same results right here. Now after this, set margin to be 0 and space SM, so 2 rem, 0 top and bottom, left and right, 2 rem. If I save this, you can see we're no longer touching the side. And set a position be absolute. That's how we specify position relative for a carousel. Absolute. Set a top be 50%. Save this. Now we can't really see it, so it says the index be 15 higher than this. Now you can see them right here. Okay, the reason why now the width is no longer 100, so the loss the width, and it's not really in the middle, so I'm gonna use the transform technique. So transform, translate, y be negative 50%. Save it. Now it's right in the middle now. Okay, now you want this to be right here because we set it to be display flex, but right now it is display flex, but our width no longer 100%. So we set width, and we can use the calc function, set being 100%, but this entire the carousel width 100%, but we want to remove the 2 rem from here and here. So we can put minus 4 rem. Save this. Now you can see right here. I want to show you how you can use variable, SaaS variable inside of the calc function right here. So say minus, put this in parentheses, and then you hash right here and put the curly brackets, and you now call the variable name. So in this case, spacing SM right here. So if we ever change this variable later on to be like 3 rem, this automatically will change to 2 rem. Okay, and then we do this, we want to multiply it by 2 because we have it right here and then right here. So if I save this, let's see, you got the same result. Let's say if I change this SM to be another, let's say go to variables and spacing SM right here. Let's say I change this to 4 rem right here, save it. Now everything shift nicely, as you can see. I bring this one to be 2 rem. So after this, now I'm going to start styling the arrows. Okay, so outside of this, say carousel arrow, so that's a class that we have that I show you as the carousel arrow. Set position to be relative. Set a background color to be my primary orange. And I use my display flex align item center, so I will do the extend again. Say justify content with center. We save this. Now this is what we got. And after this, we're gonna give it some border radius. Say border radius to make it rounded like a pill. Be 50 rem. So it looks like this. Don't worry, we're gonna add some size so it looks bigger. And add some back shadow. No, so not back shadow. Transition. Transition for back shadow. Now at a hover state, will be gonna include our back shadow mixing. Back shadow, and remember this, it takes in the color and the opacity. We want to change both the color and the opacity, and for this one the color will be our primary orange and the opacity is 0.4. Save this. If you hover over on your screen, you'll be able to see it. And then we're going to grab the icon inside of this. Set a padding. Be 0. Tap and bottom 1 rem left and right. Save it. And then grab the font size. Change the font size to be 2.5 rem. Then set a color to be the off-white. Okay, now I want to reduce the font size on larger devices. So let's see if I resize this. I want to reduce a little bit. So I go down, include, respond, LG, and the font size will be 2 rem. Now it's down a little bit. Now I'm going to resize this again. Now for our play button right here, we want to do something where we only want to show it if we have a video. Remember, we give it this one, we give it the class slides as video. We only show display button only when this thing is showing. So, and the play button inside this slide preview. So after this one, the is showing play button, and that will be if the our arrow cursor arrow had this class slider as video, then we're going to grab a slide preview and the eye inside of it. All we have to do in display block. Okay, now let's start the slide preview itself. Select by slide preview. I'll select width to be 5 rem, height also 5 rem. Set the position to be relative. Then say background. Give it a background. We want to use background image. So background like this. And with SaaS, you can do something like this. The background, open the curly bracket and put image, the URL, and then once we save it, we compile it to the regular background image, background size, background repeat, all of that. So I want to go inside my image folder. We are going right here, so I'm going to jump out here one level, go inside the image folder, and then look for hero 1 for now. And then set the size or background size to be covered. Set the repeats to no repeats. Set the position to center. Save this. This is what we get right here. Okay. Right now it gives you the same images. After this, set up this background right here. Set the border radius to be 50 rem, like we did for this one. We save it. Now we get this right here. Now I want to reduce it again on larger devices. See a little bit big right here. First, I want to get the transition for this, and I'm going to be the background image. And this one just on the width and the height to be 4 rem. Save it. Now it's a little bit smaller. Now after this, come down here. Now I'm going to grab this play button that is inside here. I'm going to grab that one now. Not this one, but this one, the play button. Set this on position to be absolute. Set the color to be the primary, orange. Use my accent. Top to be 50%, left 50%, width and height be null, and the Z index also null. So you can just specify top and left to be 50%. Save this. Now it's all the way right here. Now I'm going to either transform, translate to put it right in the middle. So say transform, translate, just translate, not translate X or Y. Be negative 50%, negative 50%. Save this. Now it shows. Now we don't want this to show every time, only when the next slide has video. So, and remember we put it right here. So we're going to do that poster right here. Let's see display. Be none. Save it. Now this disappear and this one has it. Okay. Now this doesn't now work now because there's no JavaScript works. But that's that. Now we go back to the hero. So open your hero.scss right here, and now we're gonna style a hero. So first thing, hero. I said I want to set the width to be 100%. Then the height to be 100 viewport height. Save this. Now we see the whole thing. Okay, now you can see the text is behind this, but don't worry, we will take care of it. Okay, so let's take out the hero content. Hero content, and hero content are these are hero content that inside of the container that should hold our content. So hero content, and here set position to be relative, so we can use the z index on it. So z index with 12. You save this. Now we can see our text. Before we couldn't see it because it's behind this. I set text in line. We center. Set a color. Be the off-white. Save this. Now we get this. Now we want to center them in the middle right here. Okay, and because of that, since we are inside our carousel slide, then we need to change a little bit of carousel slide right here. So let's say carousel slide. So we change the carousel slide inside this hero section, and I will set it to be display. Flex. Save this. Nothing happened. I set a flex direction to be calm, and then justify content we center. Now the justify content will work on the vertical axis. Save this. Now we get them right here. Okay, now let's work on this h2. Go this h1 h2 right here as a margin to it inside our hero content. Come back up here, say h2 margin, top and bottom, the spacing small sm, and then left and right with 0. We save this. It's what we get. Okay, now let's work on the CTA, the call to action. So we had a class of hero that wrap around this hero CTA, and we want to grab one of these buttons and push the 1 second. It's hard to do right here, but if I expand this entire thing, right click, choose inspect, and choose this navigation right here, choose the mobile. Now you can see the button are on top of each other right here, but there's enough space, so we want to fix that. And for us, I will choose the button and use the plus sign. Use the button again, and this selector, we select these two buttons right here, the one next to each other. I set the margin tab. This we select, choose the last one, the adjacent button, the last one. So say margin tab to be the spacing SM. Save this. Now you can see it has space on the top right here. And medium devices, let's say if we start resizing it, now we have enough space, and we need to remove the margin from the top right here and add some margin to the left. So at include this one, MD margin top be 0, and then margin left to be the spacing SM. Save this. Now see it. And see there's space in between now. So that's the stuff. Now let's try for this navigation. Now you can see the navigation are overlapping the words, so you can really read words between them. So we want to push them down a little bit right here. So we're gonna grab, come down here, put a comment, carousel, navigation, and I had a class carousel underscore nav. Instead of top, with 58%. Now let's scroll down a little bit. Now let's try other devices. Somewhere right here. Medium devices. I'll copy this real quickly. I set up top, be 55%. Now move a little bit. You can see. Now the navigation is all the way over here, but don't worry, we're gonna fix all of that. And then on larger devices, that's one right here. We want to bring it back to the 50%. So copy this again, Shift Alt, downward click for duplicate, LG, and this will be 50%. Save this. Now back right here. Okay, I'll get out of this. Okay, so that our carousel navigation right here, the hero section, as you can see right here. So with that, when we move into the feature section, okay, and the feature section is not that big. No, sorry, not the feature section, the app section first. So go to app.sss right here, open it up. So go inside our CSS. I'll close this one. We had the app right here, had this image inside of it. So what we do, select our app, the overflow, be hidden, border radius, will be our border radius, variable, set a position, be relative, set a z index, be 12, and I will include my back shadow. Save this. You can start seeing the back shadow right here. Now I want to move it up right here. So I'm going to use the margin. That be -8 rem. Save this. Now we move to the top. The reason why I set it to be Z12, if I take this one out. Now it's beneath this overlay. That's why I said these two position relative, so I can use the Z index on it. So right here. And then on medium devices, I want to push it up a little bit more. Oh, somewhere like here, I want to push it up. So add include respond MD. The margin that will be -10 rem. Save this. So pull it up a little bit, and then on larger devices, even larger devices, want to pull it up a little bit more. So I will duplicate this. Say LG, and this will be 14 rem. Save this. Then we get this. Okay. So it start taking shape. Now our feature session. So that's it for the app. So you can just close this one. If you need time to write this, you can pause it and write it to catch up. I'm gonna close this. Now this app is finished. Go to feature session. And the feature session, that's when we start talking about the rows right here. So very simple. If we take a look at the finished project, the feature session under medium devices, the column are 2, 2, 2, like half, and the last one, the third column is full width. And you will see the same thing here too, 2, 2, and this one full width, and we have no space right here and no space down here. Okay, the same for this session also. Okay, so where you use the flex for, okay, these are based on 12 grade column. Okay, so open your feature, the SCSS, open up, also open layout, the SCSS. Okay, right now we only had a container inside of the layout. Now, so adding the row and the column. Okay, and larger devices, these are three column, and 3 column. Okay, so you keep that in mind. So I will reset this a little bit right here. Okay. Now, just we are inside of the row. Select our row. Set display. Reflex. Say wrap. Plus wrap. Be wrap. What this does, if there's no space, the last one that does have no space, we go to the next line. That's what the first wrap will do. I'll save this. I will come back here again. So let's start moving to the flex 4. So flex 4, we selecting only this class that inside of a row. Set of flex, use the flex property. Set of flex grow to 0, basis grow 0, and grow and shrink to be 0, and then the basis to be 100%. And after that, I will set the max width to be 100%. Save this. Nothing changes because this is how it looks like anyways. 100% of the parent width on small devices because it's a mobile first. And I will set some padding. The padding is what we will use for the gutter. For example, this space in between is the padding. Okay, so I say padding left to be the spacing small, and padding right also. Save this. Now you can see we add some padding to them. Okay, let's just add a border right here. Say border 2 pixel solid. Save this. This is our row, our column, and then we have this two RAM padding right here, but we wanted this to be touching right here, the container. Okay, so because of that, we go back to the row and we give it a margin left and right or negative. So margin left be negative the same amount right here. So in this case, negative spacing SM, and then we do the same thing for the right because we use the padding right here. I have a tutorial on how to set up a 12 grid column, so if you want to watch it, there is a link in the description that you can watch it. We just save this. Now you can see now it's touching because this margin pull the column to the negative side, also to the right from both sides. Now it's red, it's touching the container, as you can see. Okay, so once we get here, now we want to start changing. And this is let's see. Okay, this is medium size devices. One will be half, and then the last one to be 100%. Okay, so come down here. At include respond MD. Set of flex again. We use the same technique here. And this time we 0 again and 0 and a plus spaces. We percentage, let's say percentage. This will calculate the percentage for us, and this will be 6 divided by 12 to give us half. Save this. Now it's already taking shape, as you can see right here. And we do the same thing for the max width, so make sure it doesn't grow more than this. So again, I'm just going to copy this percentage, paste it right here, save it, nothing changes. Okay, now we want to do for the last one. Okay, no, not the last one yet. Now we want to do for the bigger devices. So somewhere right here, I can see 93 column. So I'm just gonna copy this, push it right down here. The LG, and now is 4 divided by 2. Make sure we get other 3 right here, as you can see, because 4 times 3 will goes to 12. And then we want to start changing for the, you can see right here, we need some space right here on medium devices, stuff like that, and very smaller devices also we need some space in between. But we want to do those spacing on the second element, this one. So this one, some margin for that. So come down here, we select the, use the N child selector, and this one too. We set to margin, top and bottom, the spacing small, and then left and right to be 0. Save this. Now we get some spacing right here. Yeah, spacing top and bottom. Now medium devices. Let me just set we get now some right here. Now we had our spacing on the bottom right here, and have spacing on the top right here. We want to change that. At include respond MD. So margin top 0, left and right be 0, and the last one be the bottom. Now we want to add some margin to the bottom right here. So this will be the spacing. Let's save this, and then after this one we do for the LG. You're just gonna remove the bottom and the margin completely. Save this. No, LG. That's what you can see. Actually, sorry, this one also we're removing all the margin, so we don't need anything for this one. Save this. Like this. Now we want to do the last one. Okay, now this is where place. Okay, the last one. Now this is where we want to add some space on the top for the last one. So we use the last child selector, child, and then we want to do a medium only on medium devices and larger devices. So medium devices, say margin tab, to be the spacing. So save this, and we get this right here. Okay, and then we set our flex. We do the same thing. That's for this. Copy this, paste it right here. Save this. So do 100% right here. On smaller devices, okay, see nice layout. And then on larger devices, we want to bring this one back here. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this, and then margin tab will be 0, and this will be the same as this. And then this will be LG. Save this. Now we get everything right here. Now all we had to do just remove the border from this. And everything looks like this, as you can see. Now that's it for the column. If so, you want to pause it and go through and catch up, you can do so. But that's for the layout. Now go to the feature and so styling this icon. It's very simple. So it's the feature. Select the icon, features icon. Set width. What this is image SVG to be 8 RAM. Save it. Now here we have it. And then we're going to select the box, this type box, and the H3 inside of it. So features box, heading 3 element, set a margin, top and bottom the spacing SM, and then left and right be 0. That's it. And just like that. See, even this also is taking shape already, as you can see. 2 2, and the last one 2 to 4 stuff 2 2, as you can see. So we finished the header, this section, the app, the features, as you can see right here. And then this is next, the video conference. So that's the next thing. So I'm going to recite this and we'll get started again. Okay, go ahead and open the video conference, the SCSS file right here, and then we're gonna get started. a session. So first thing, and let me close this one out. We had this class, and then we had the dflex, which is already displayed as flex, and we had the video conference video, which this is not a video. I just call it like that for now because it had a display button. That's why I call it video. And then we had our contents right here, which contain this spot. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing first, I will select the video conference class. I'll set this background color to be the off-white color. Now, so styling the video. So it's conference video, conference video. Let me put a comment right here. Set position to be relative. Set width to be 100%. Max weight also to be 100%. Save it. Now we're going to choose the image inside here. So we just use the image element. The width 90%, height 100%. Now I will set a border. Now I want to do this rounded right here. So border tap right radius to be 25 rem. I duplicate this. Now instead of tap, it will be bottom. Bottom. Take this one now. Now we get this rounded. Then after that, we create this decoration using the before pseudo element. So on this video, so I will go down here to decoration. Is the before pseudo element. Set the contents to be empty. It's important I set a content property, otherwise the before won't work. Set a position to be absolute. That's why we said this to be relative. We include our mixin, the absolute position. We set a top to be 0, the left 0, the width 100%, the height 100%, and the z-index to be null. See this, nothing happens. We set the background image to our linear gradient. So we set this one to be the ascent gradient. Save this. Then we get it right here. But it's on top of the image. We want it beneath the image, as you can see right here. So for that, we go back to the image right here. The position to be relative, so we can use the z-index on it. So z-index to be 2. Now the image on top of the decoration. Now we're gonna set a rounded corner for this also. So all we have to do, border radius to be 25 rem. Save this. Now you can see, since the image is on top of it, you won't be able to see this border radius right here. Let's say if I comment this one out, you can see it's rounded, but because we set the z-index for this to be on top, it hide it. Okay, now with that, now we start working on the play button. So we go down here, play button. So first thing, I set the position to be absolute because we want to put it right here. Also, I need to grab it. Class play button, position absolute, and we grab this one. Grab this right here, and for this one, for the width, put it to be 50%. For the height, no, not the width, the top 50%, the left 40%, the width to be 5 rem, and the height also 5 rem. And the Z index to be 6. Save this. See it right here. Okay, so I say transform, translate, negative 50% and negative 50%. Save this. Now it's in the center right here, and I'm going to just put a scale to be 1 because we're going to use animation on this later on. So with that, I'll set a font size to make it a little bit bigger to be 2.5 rem, and then set my background color to be the primary orange color. Save this, and then I'm gonna set the border radius to be 50%. If you set the width and the height of an element to be the same, like for example 5 rem here, and you set the border radius to be 50%, it will make a perfect circle like this. Now we need to center this icon in the middle, but first let's change its color. The color be the off-white. We need to put the icon in the middle, so we're going to add flex. So display, flex, align item to be center, and justify content be center. Save this. Now we have it right here. Set a cursor to be pointer. So as you can see right here, it looks like I can click it. But right here we have a small one and a big one behind it. So let's do that. So for the big one, we're gonna use again the pseudo element like before right here. Set a content again, be empty, position be absolute, and then I'm going to include this, grab this, %, 50%. Now this is absolute to this one, play button right here. Now to this entire thing. And for the width, 150%, so it's going to be 150% for this width. And then the height also. And the Z index, you want to put there underneath this, put a -1. Instead of transform also, just copy this. Something like that. And then scale on 1. I say background color. Color RGBA, because if you take a look, it's lighter, it's a little bit transparent. So we're going to use RGBA, and our color will be our primary. orange, and the alpha transparency 0.6. Save this. We get it right here. Now I'm gonna set our border radius to be 50%. So I'm just copy this, paste it. Now we get this. Now let's do the animation. For example, you can see this one jumping and bounce. This one also. So we're going to do from the small one and the other one. So go back here for inside of the play button like this. Give it the animation property. Give it a name called pulse. Enter. Duration 1.5 second. Fill mode forwards and infinite, and our transition is and out. Save this. Now we come all the way down here. Is our keyframe at keyframe, and then for the identifier we put pulse. Enter. So that's the name we gave it. Show capital I, and then it says 0%. So it's 0%. Do this transform translate right here, because we just want to change the scale. Okay, set this one to same. Copy this, Shift Alt duplicate. Now 70%. We're gonna the scale from 1.15. Okay, if we say this for now, let's say nice start. As you can see, pause a little bit. We want to have that bouncing effects, and then at 80%, we set to 1.1, and then 85%. We set it to be 1.5, and then on 100%. We set it back to 1. Save this. Now you can see the bouncing, but we want this one to grow even bigger. As you can see, a bit dramatic. So we're gonna create another animation under before. So I'm just gonna copy this, and paste it right here, and this one be outer. So just duplicate this. You can just copy this one and paste it again, and this time say outer, and this one gonna be same, but here set on 1.512, it will be 1.2, and this one remain the same. It's also 1.2, and the rest remain the same. Save this. Now you can see. So that's the no, wrong place. Now you can see. So that's the for the animation. Now let's continue styling the content right here. So that's the video. This is the video. Now start working on this one. I will collapse this. So this. So I go down here. Contents. And set the padding. You do spacing LG. Top and bottom. And 0 left and right. Save this. Now we get some space right here. And after this one, write up this paragraph and add some margin at the bottom for this. Space small. Now we get some space right here. Now that's it for the mobile. It won't be the same on tablets here, but once we start getting somewhere right here, we want to break it to half and half. So, and that is very simple. All we have to do, as you can remember in our layout, we have this, as you can see, flex half this. So we already have something right here. So we want to do it under content and under video. So I put down here responsive, grab the video, and then comma, content, and then add include response LG. Then remember we can do half. So this right here goes 6 divided by 2 divided by 12. Copy that. Just like that. Save it. Now we get it right here, as you can see. Nice responsive. As you can see right here. So that's for a video conference. Next, go to the me.team session. Okay, so I'm going to close this one out, and a layout also, and a feature, and then collapse this, and then we are in the meet session, the team session, meet.team session. Open one of these, the code, and then first thing, we got the code. We need to style the code. So open up your code.scss right here, and then we're gonna start styling the code. So we have the code right here, code header, the image inside of it, the code body, all of this. Okay, so it's gonna be real quick. Let's see, we add a decoration also. Complete. Okay, so code, set the background color. Give me my off-white color, border radius to be my code radius, which is 4 rem, as you can see right here. Save this. Now you can't really see the background color, so we're gonna add a back shadow. So we're gonna use our back shadow mixing. Save this. Now you will be able to see it. Okay, you can see the corners right here. Now the code header, which hold the image, I'm gonna start styling the header. Also set the border radius with the code radius, the position to be relative. Save this. Nothing, you can't see anything because the image is on top of it, but one face, all of that. And I'm going to use the before element to add again, add our decoration. So it's going to be content, empty, position, absolute. We use our include again for our position attribute. Position Mason, top 0, left 0, width 100%, height also 100%, z-index null, background image, the accent gradient. Save this, and you can see it's on top of everything. We're going to face it soon. Set a transform, translate y 1.2 rem. So we're going to slide that down a little bit. If I say this, I can see a shape down a little bit. I will give it a border radius also to be my chord radius. Now you can see. Now we're going to target the chord body. So after this header, chord body, set the padding to be 2.8 rem top and bottom. 2.8 rem top, 2 rem left and right, and 2 rem bottom. So we get some spacing right here. And then the footer, chord footer, we thinking about this one now. This is a chord footer. So let's start right away. Footer. So chord footer. Set the padding to be 0 top, 2 rem left and right, and 2 rem bottom, because we already gave two rem on the bottom for the body. For example, this body right here we had 2 rem, so there's no need to add another one. So we got that right here. Now that's it for the chord. You can close it out. Now open up your theme, the SCSS right here. I'm gonna take care of the image right here. So just grab your themes class, then inside of it I'm gonna grab theme image, because that's the class that the images have. Set a position, relative. Now you can see the images on top of the decoration. Just says the index v2, just make sure it's always stay on the top. Set a border radius to our chord radius. It says width be 100%. Save this, and voila, we just finished with our chord means the theme chord, everything is responsive already. Now you can see this, make sure to the 100% of the width, and everything still look nice. Okay, now start working on this chord right here. So I'm just gonna minimize this to the pricing section right here. So open up your pricing, the SCSS. So first thing first, I'm gonna be using the display flex align. I don't want to send it quite the last, so I'm gonna create a placeholder again. Flex display flex align item center. Now we're gonna start with a button. Mean the theme is finished. Now pricing, we had this button right here, toggle button. We're gonna start with that first. So I had this button toggle. So now the button, go in here and put a toggle like this. So with that button toggle, set up margin bottom to be our spacing SM. Set a border radius to be our border radius. Set position be not inherits relative. Set display inline flex. Set overflow. Be hidden. I'll include my back shadow. Save this. Now we get this right here. And larger devices, I just want to add more margin at the bottom, so I'm just gonna say include respond LG margin bottom spacing MD. After this, now I'm going to start targeting each button, the monthly and the yearly. So inside of the toggle, see inside here, let my monthly and my yearly. Like right here. Now these are the two I'm selecting. Now here say the padding be 1.6 RAM, top and bottom 2 RAM, left and right. Set my font size be 1.4 RAM. Set my color be my primary. Set a transition, so I include transition and the property gonna be color. Set a position to be relative and a z index to be 2. The reason why is because this right here, this thing right here, that slide, we want to make sure this test always stay on top of it. That's why we're setting this to be relative and z index to be 2, because this is position absolute. So with that, I'll save this and we get this. Okay, so for example, when it's monthly, this monthly get at the active class, and this get active class, this get the active class is removed. So we want to make sure we include that. So if any of them had the active class, then the color should be the off-white. If I save this, nothing happened. But if I add active class here, now it's off-white. Now remove this for now. Now we want to do the sliding. This slide, that's what we slide. That's this background color that is sliding. So let's do that. So outside of the yearly, but see inside of the toggle right here, come down here, say slider button, say position be absolute. That's why we set this to be relative. I'm gonna use at include absolute position mixing, tab 0, left 0, width 50%, height 100%, and a z index to be null. So we want it to be just 50, half width of this, 50% of this, but we want to take the full height, the width just half width. I will set a border radius to be border radius Set a background image. You can want to use a linear gradient. What am I writing? To be our primary gradient. Set a transform to be translate x 0. Save this. We get it right here. Now let me add the active class here. So active. Now we get this like this. Okay. Now we want, and once we click it, we want to use our transform and translate it. So with that, let's add a transition to this and include our function. Transition transform and a property dynamic transform. And then when they have just class active yearly, then I say transform translates x 100%. So if I right now it's a month, if I click, then we should switch to yearly. So I'm gonna have this active yearly. If I click again, it should have active monthly. But we only want to worry about this because by default is always a transform x0 already right here. So that's for the button right here. So if you need time, you can pause it and write it. I'm gonna close this for now, then move to the actual code right here. So down here, now select my pricing, set the padding bottom to be 3 rem. Just adding some padding right here. Now see my pricing header. Now this is the pricing header. Make sure I'm showing one. So this is the pricing header. So this side here. So our pricing header, the position, relative z index 5. So it stay on top of this color. See the background color will be my off-whites. Padding, padding 1 rem top and bottom, 2.5 rem left and right. And then border radius gonna be my chord radius. If I save this, we get this. Now you can see it's taking shape already. I want to make sure these always in line the center, so I'm gonna use our extend, use our placeholder. Save this. Now you can see display flex and make sure align in the center. Now I want to push this one right here. So say justify content center. It's not center, sorry, space between. Now we align nicely. Now this is the name and the pricing price right here. So we're gonna select that. So name and then pricing underscore price. Set a font weights to be font weight bold. Font size to be 2.5 rem. Save this. And then larger size, I just want to reduce the font size to be just 2 rem. So I include this one, LG, font size 2 rem. Save this. If I scroll up, this is how it starts looking. So collapse the header. Now, so features. These are the features. We just want to do one thing. We just want to capitalize this. Get, for example, this lowercase, lowercase, lowercase. Let's say features, not just feature. Let's transform, capitalize. Now capitalize each word. Now after this, now I'm gonna do the recommended. Remember this one had a class called pricing recommend. So I go down here. What I recommend, select text. All we want to do, we just want to put this on top right here, change this background color and put this on with Docker background color. So since this is a before pseudo element and other code, I'm gonna select the code header because that's where it is put at. So code header before, set up before, set up background image, because that's what we use to the linear gradient to be none. If I save this now, yeah, you can see disappear. I'm gonna say background color to be the dark gray color. I save this. Now you can see it's darker. Now we want to change this background color and the text color. So I had the pricing header. And this, the background image to be the accents gradient, and then the color to be off-white. Save this. Now we get it right here. Now let's resize it and decide looks like. But here you can see this one is bigger than these two. So let's take care of that. So all we have to do outside of here, but see instead of the recommended, I include font LG and transform it. The transform scale 1.2. We save this. And then we get this right here. So that's the code. Don't worry, we're gonna fix all of this because it's sitting on top of it. So I'm gonna reset this again. So that's it for the pricing session. So you can close the pricing session. Now we're moving to the folder. So grab your folder, the SCSS right here. So first and first, just gonna grab that folder class. Set up padding tab. To be my spacing MD. Save this. So add more space right here. Then we have a pricing folder tab which contain this right here. Let me collapse this. We have a folder tab right here and a folder bottom. So we're gonna start a folder tab. With background image. to be my accents gradient, the border radius be 25 rem, padding to be the spacing MD, top and bottom, and spacing SM, left and right. Let's save this. This is what we get. So the color to be off-white color. Say margin bottom be negative 15 rem. The reason why we said negative 50 rem because of this, as you can see, this is the footer bottom right here. I want to create this effect. So 15, and let's see on larger devices this has it looking like. I want to reduce it a little bit, as you can see. So just say at include expand margin bottom be negative 8 rem. Save this. Okay, gonna paste the heading to where some space to this button. So down here say heading to margin bottom spacing small. So I have some space. Don't worry, we're gonna face all these copyright stuff here soon, right now. So after the our tab, come down here, bottom, footer bottom. Set the background color to be our dark gray color. As you can see, nice thinning on top of this. But don't worry, we're gonna fix it. After this, give it a padding. Tap to be 16 rem, 0 left and right, 2 rem bottom. As you can see. Oh, right here, set position to be relative, and Z index be 5. So yeah, so this can show up on top. Okay, now I'm gonna reduce a little bit on larger devices. Padding tab, just want to be 10 rem instead of 16. And then we have down here in the bottom, we have this flex, and we have these 3 element kind of column inside of it, the copyright, the logo, and the menu again, footer menu. So for the flex is already displayed as flex, as you can see right here. But mobile devices, I don't want to add to display flex, so I'm going to select the flex again here, the display block right here. But on larger devices, as usual, display as flex. Display flex, align item with center, and justify content center. Okay, so if you do not have this display flex, then on larger devices it's just gonna be like this. Now the logo is SVG, that's why I just to the whole place. If we bring this back, reflex, now this is what we get. Don't worry, we're gonna bring the logo back again. So we're gonna grab our upside of the flex right here and here, and grab our border logo, duplicate this 2 times, and this one, the first one, put a copyright. So that's the first one. Logo, and now set text and line be center. Now we get everything in the center. On larger devices, we don't want it to be center. So sorry about the noise. Say add include respond LG text align to be left. Save this. Okay. So here there's a mistake. It shouldn't be center but space between. Now we are not left. And I want the 3 column here and larger devices. 3 column like this. So again, just gonna use our flex technique like this right here. Now we get our logo back again. That's this is on larger devices. On mobile devices, small devices, it's just 1 column. That's why we said we display black right here. So after this, now we're going to get the footer logo. We're going to collapse this. Get the footer logo. Set display, flex, align item, center, justify content, center, margin, spacing, SM, now you get some space right here. Of course, we want to remove the space on large device. Include LG, margin is 0. Now take care of this image. The image width 15 RAM. Now 15%. Now we get this. I want to increase a little bit on larger devices. So I just copy this. Be 20%. Save this. 20%. So a little bit bigger. Now for the footer menu, we want this, I can see, align to the right. So after the footer logo, come down here, footer, now say include, respond, LG, text align, right. Save this. Now you align to the right. Now inside of the footer, now we had a footer menu which hold all of this. So we're gonna select it right here. Footer menu. Say display reflex, justify content, space between, save this. Now we get the and few more styling. Now grab the anchor element, set color, be our body, set color, and then when we hover over it, now set a color, be our primary, orange. We save this. Now we get this. Now smaller device, also really nice, as you can see right here. So that's it for the footer. Like this. If you want, you can rewind it. I can pause it to catch up, but that's it for the CSS. So this is the final style. Now this is the final version of the style after we finish styling everything. As you can see, we did the menu, the hero section, this app section, the features, this nice play button, this card, pricing, and the footer. I hope you'll enjoy the CSS session, but this is not the end of it. I want you to join me next week in the next video, and we saw adding the JavaScript. You really don't want to miss it. There's a lot of stuff to cover in the JavaScript. You learn a lot of new stuff. I'm very excited for it. And first thing we want to make sure this navigation get taken care of. For example, menu, smaller devices, this, we get this app and this menu goes away. Get this nice slider. So next week, that's what we're going to be working on. And then this pricing session right here. And then we're going to focus on this big carousel slider right here. You don't want to miss it. So thank you for staying by to watching. I know this is a long tutorial, but I appreciate that you stick by. If you have not already done that, I will appreciate it if you like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified when I release the next tutorial. Thank you again, and I have a great one. Bye.